2, 3, 4.
Let's go now.
What's going on, folks? Will Stewart here with your FPL Spurspective. What's going on? My name is Will Stewart. Thank you all for who are joining and watching the stream today. Today we're talking FPL, yes, and from a Spurs fan's point of view. And you know, this is a difficult one this year from a Spurs fan's point of view. A lot of unknowns. A lot of unknowns going on at the moment. But from an FPL point of view, for people that are curious, who maybe have not played FPL before, you know, it very well could be that we don't play a lot of Spurs players in game week 1. Why? Why do we do this? So in FPL, you have to be non-emotional about players from the teams and the clubs that you support. But you got to be really keen on what is going on with the fixture list. Okay, so fixture list is the most important part in here. But let's kind of take a look here at what I've got set up. This is what I haven't done my final choosing yet. For people who don't know, deadline is in about 1 hour, a little less than an hour. So we're kind of going to go through here. I'm going to make some changes live here on the fly, and we are going to do that. So let's take a look here for as long as this camera decides to work with me. But here's who I've got in my team right now. Some changes obviously need to be made, and stuff like that. So for goalkeepers, I've got Guiata, who's playing against Chelsea, so I'll probably want to switch him out. Sanchez is probably the better deal here. So let's go ahead and switch him here. I might be in pick team. Switch. All right. So with goalkeepers, you want to pick someone who's got the possibility of getting a lot of clean sheets, but doesn't cost a lot of money, right? You have a limited amount of cash that you can run here. So we've got to do the best we can with what we've got. Cresswell, he's playing Newcastle. That's a fairly good fixture list. I'm going to leave him where he is. Dunk, he is another, I think, a 4.5 million pound defender. Playing Burnley, and then Loughton against Brighton. So those are pretty good fixture lists. Son is probably going to be right now my key. Just like even watching Nuno's press conference today, he's kind of the guy that we have locked in. Like, he's going to be playing a bigger part this season, I think, than we might want to do. Busuma, he's got a really good fixture against Burnley. We've also got Bruno Fernandes for Manchester United. I've got him captained this week. And he's playing against Leeds. That's going to be a tough fixture, to be honest with you. Jack Grealish against Tottenham. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to play or not. That's a tough one to pick out. We got Danny Ings in there. I had Watkins in there before, and it's definitely something that we kind of need to figure out whether he's going to play or not. So it looked like Watkins was hurt. It had an injury, about a 75% chance of playing. So that's why I switched him out for Ings. I had Kane in there at first, then put Lukaku in based on his fixture. But then apparently he's injured. So we need to find a replacement for Lukaku. And we need to bring the transfer in here. Pull him out. Select a replacement for him. Let's see. So forwards. Yeah, I can't be serious. I've got Ings. This is not about my personal preference. This is about FPL fixture list and who is going to possibly score the most points. So all emotion and or preference has to go out the window with FPL. It's really important that we select and choose, the people who are going to be the best, score us the most points in the game week. That's the main focus here. So, let's see who we're going to replace Lukaku with. Trying to look at the fixtures and what players. We got Vardy. Who's Vardy playing against here? Vardy is playing fixture list. Wolves at home, but you want to look at least 2 or 3 weeks out. That's the key with FPL is you always want to be looking 2 to 3 weeks out. Don't be afraid to use your weekly transfers that you get for free. Also need to plan on who, when you're going to use your wild card, what game week. I tend to try to save my wild card for at least game week 4. So I try to do the best that I can. Obviously, nobody knows, right, what particular player is going to do what in the opening first 4 or 5 weeks. Maybe upgrade to Trent and Dignate. Yeah, I don't have a problem using Trent. But Trent Alexander is expensive defender. I have a hard time using that much money on defenders. I don't think I played Trent at all last season. I had Robertson in my team for a little bit. But I don't remember ever using Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think I'm going to hold off on Trent. I need to see how he's going to play, how well he's doing, and all that stuff. So let's see. Fixtures lifts on Vardy's 2. He's playing Wolves, West Ham, Norwich, Man City. Vardy may be a good shout if I leave the cash available in the bank coming through the first 3 weeks. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it here. So we're going to drop Vardy in for Lukaku, which leaves us with got 1.5 left in the bank here. I could throw that money into a midfielder, but I want to be able to switch Vardy out for, Kane or Lukaku, depending on their performance. I mean, Kane could come out and have a worldie and score 3 goals tomorrow. You never know. Or he can never play at all. And the problem was is you really got to watch press conferences. You got to look at team news. I'd really like to have another high price midfielder in the midfield here. I just can't do it. I really don't like that Dallas is a midfielder this season instead of a I could do Rafinha for Basuma. What does Rafinha cost here? Let's see. Select a replacement. Rafinha. 0.5. That doesn't work. I can't bring in Rafinha unless I were to downgrade Dallas or Grealish. You know what? Grealish is a risk too. Now that he's playing for City, I had him in here before he was selected. So let's pull him out too. You never know how Pep is gonna play these guys. Let's restore Basuma because Basuma is I would say it's like the cheapest guy who I know who's going to get game time, week in, week out, a decent player. Do I think Grealish will be on pens? I that's tough to say, man. Nobody knows how Grealish is going to perform now that he's moved to City. And that's the problem with City players, as people know if you play FPL a lot, is that they tend to rotate quite often. Even your big money players. So with Grealish, I've got 9.5. Got 9.5 million here. I could bring in Gundogan instead of Grealish. Gundogan was a great player last season. Let's look at City's fixtures list here. So other than Tottenham, they got a really good run. So probably in game week 2, what I'll probably try to do is get at least 2 City defenders in, probably running in through game week after game week 1. I don't think that City's going to score a ton against us, and I don't think that they're going to be able to keep us out. I think we'll at least get 1 goal tomorrow. So that's why I don't have any City defenders in off the bat. A lot of people who aren't Spurs fans, who I guess you could say doubt us, that it would do that. So yeah, and for people that are watching, livefpl.net. If you don't have a livefpl.net account, you need to go set one up for this. What livefpl.net does is it'll show you live in the game week, because the site that you do the game, it takes a while for your scores to update. But if you go ahead and sign up for that, I think it's free. There's a paid piece of it as well, but the free one is definitely something you want to have. But it'll also allow you to plan in advance, so you can kind of go there and you can kind of set up your team for this week and then go in for next week. I got to keep an eye on the clock to make sure I lock in my team before the deadline rolls. It'll help you to plan in advance what transfers you're going to make, and all that stuff is good. For people that don't know, like I finish, I want to say 265,000 in the world, and then was the top 10K in the United States. So I had a pretty good year last year. Could have done better, but the end of the season, with all the drama that was going on at Spurs, I kind of, the last 4 or 5 game weeks, I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention. I still made my substitutions and stuff like that, but I didn't really research well. I'm hearing weird noise when I talk. That's okay. The fixture list for Gundogan is pretty good. Question is does he play? Who else do we got here? Mahrez at 9. I mean, Gundogan would be a good shout. That'll leave me in with enough cash to swap Vardy out. Ings will probably be a transfer I make as well. Let's see. Throw in Rafinha. He's playing against Manchester United. Let's just do that. So I got Gundogan in there now. So if you notice that my goalkeepers are both 4.5, I could go down to a 4, but for game week 1, probably until I do my wild card, I want to have as many this is the way that I do it. Some people don't do it this way. They like to just throw in whatever the formation they like to play. I prefer to play a 3-4-3. As least amount of defenders as I can, as many oh crap. I think I just undid what I just did. Yeah, I did. Didn't save it. So move player. How much do you spend on the entry fees? There's no entry fees. It's free to play. It doesn't cost anything to play. And you just sign up for an account on premierleague.com. For people who want to know our league code is, let me throw that in here. There's our league code if you want to join the league. Top 4 who finish at the end of the season will be winning free merch from www.thfcrants.com. First prize will get us, sweatshirt value. Second place will get, t-shirt value. Third place and fourth place, so on and so forth down the list. Let's select replacement. We're gonna put on Jordan Vardy here. So I got Son, Dallas, make transfers, confirm transfers, pick team. Gundogan, Basuma, Burnley, Fernandez. And who's my first sub here? Cody's playing Leicester. Probably want to make Target the first substitute. So this is some place down here that you want to make sure that you don't neglect, right? Always make sure that your players are in order, of one being the most likely substitute to score or to get points in the game week. Because when they pull them in as a sub, you don't want. There was many a times last season when I had, this guy sitting in, the guy sitting in third place scored like 8 points, and then somebody subbed in who got 2. So make sure that you always pay attention to your bench and in what order that those substitutes are sitting in. Yeah. So we want to sub this guy out for this guy. So looking at the fixtures here, the only person who has a questionable fixture is Son. But being a Tottenham fan, you can't not have Son, not have at least one Spurs player in your squad. So I mean, going through forward in the season, probably like you're looking at like Romero or somebody else like that will probably be somebody that I bring in later on in the season. And definitely a player that I'm going to be looking at, especially to see how Tottenham works. So what you're looking for is, teams fixture. Okay, so I'm going to say this again: fixtures. The fixture is the most important part about FPL, right? Making sure that the players that you have playing have the easiest possible fixture possible, right? You're going with the odds here. Okay. Right. Even to be honest with you, playing Son against City is a risk points wise. I don't like having a 4-pound midfielder or 4.5-pound midfielder in there with Basuma. But like I said, he's cheap. But kind of looking here who would I plan to be? Cresswell is an expensive defender. He played really, really well. He scored a lot of points. Yeah, so we got Spurs 72 here. He says one Spurs player and no Arsenal players. No wonder I'm always mediocre. Yeah, you got to get out of your team bias, right? You got to really get out of that your team bias type of thing. You really want to make sure that you are doing that. And then so for people who are new to the game and stuff like that, you also have different, like what they call chips that you can play. Bench boost, triple captains. What bench boost does is it adds the points for your bench into your total score. So normally the guys that are in this gray area here, their points don't count to your weekly total. But when you play the bench boost, which you can play once a season, then that'll add that into here. What you really want to save those for is double game weeks. So look at FPL, they'll have where we have 2 games and 1 technical double game week. So triple captain, bench boost, those 2 chips down at the bottoms, or one that you want to save for double game weeks. Double game weeks usually don't start happening till the second half of the season. It's usually after like say a squad has their fixture move for a cup competition, or this that was the other thing. I mean, last season it was really confused. There were so many double game weeks due to the congested fixture schedule last season that it was really, really, really hard to get that all in. So Scott M said, let's see. Thank you, JJ. I appreciate that. Scott M says, try to sign up, but it made no sense to me. It'll be interesting to follow along if you do streams like this all season to see if it makes sense to join next season. Yeah, 100%. I'll be doing at least one stream, an FPL stream a week. So we'll be going in and we'll be reviewing how my team went the week before and what transfers I'm going to be making, and then also answering questions that people have here. I am not an expert, but this is my 4th season playing FPL, and I've been moving up the table each year. So, yeah. So key points to remember: fixtures. Which player has the easiest fixture? If you get to a point where you can have, like even Mohamed Salah, if he's playing against City or something like that, you definitely don't want to do that. And like for captains too. So I need to pick a vice captain, I think here. Vice captain right now is the goalkeeper. I don't want to do that. So we got about 30 minutes before the deadline. So Watford, taking vice captain. I mean, even having Bruno Fernandes as my captain may be a tough one. To be honest with you, Vardy may be a little bit better. Danny Ings may even be a better pick. So let's see what some of the other guys are doing. You know what? Let's go here. So before the first game week, you can remove player, store player. That's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch Fernandes out for Salah. And I'm going to cap him because he's playing against Norwich. So that should be a pretty easy match. And that's why you want to get here and you want to be able to afford at least hold some space for hold some space for a 12.5. And that's what you really want to do is you want to those big timers, Salah, De Bruyne, Fernandez, based on their fixture, which one has the best fixture? That's usually the transfer that I make each week, right? That's the transfer that for me, I put in there. Bob has a question here. Says, which player, if any, is worth a punt on from Leeds? They're an attacking at all costs kind of team. Bamford is one that I played a lot last season. Bamford, Rafinha, Dallas scored a lot of points. The bad part about Dallas is Dallas was considered a defender last season. This season he's considered a midfielder. So it may not be as good of a choice. I have him in my team simply because I needed to fill that price point. Let me go ahead and make this transfer in here. Make that transfer in. Herb transfers. So I got Salah and captain, and let's make Danny Ings, make him vice captain. We'll save that team in there. Now, just switch this guy out. Why does he keep going in there? Save my team. Fixture-wise, this is looking a lot better, I think. I'd really like to have Fernandez in there too, but I just can't. As a Spurs fan, I can't not have at least one player in my squad. That goes to my benefit. If I was playing smart, if I was playing smarter in my defense here, I probably wouldn't have Son on my list, and maybe only be playing 2 at the top. Most everybody now has Tony in their team simply because of his price. Ivan Toney here is a pretty cheap forward. I think he's sitting on, can't remember his price. I think it's 6.5 or 6. Yeah, 6.5 here. So that's one that a lot of people have. He's highly owned. Danny Ings is a bit of a punt, to be honest with you. I don't see him sitting out, and with Watkins holding an injury, I'm thinking he's going to play. I'm not 100% sure, but at £8, he'll be one that I'll probably either switch in or switch out. Vardy will be one who moves in and out of my team a lot. Based like on our fixture list here. So other than City, I might even start bringing in Kane, maybe in game week 2, if he's still with us. And then probably looking to take him out for the Chelsea match in game week 4 and bringing in players that'll do that. Target for Bazuma, you think so? So Crocodiles want me to rate my team. Will Sanchez, Ben Alexander-Arnold's a good one. Luke Shaw's a good one. Simicus, Salah, Greenwood, Wunita, Son, Tony, Antonio, Ings, Subs, Foster, Ailing, Rafinha, Kofau. Got a lot of leads. And Sanchez, you got Davis and Sanchez in there? Is that the Sanchez? I don't know if I would do that. All right, having a Spurs defender in game week 1 against Manchester City is not the best idea if you have him starting. Goalkeeper Sanchez, okay. So you got the same guy I got then. Trent Alexander-Shaw, Tissimicus, that's good. That's a back 3. Salah, Greenwood, Benita, and Son. That's good. Will Greenwood play, though? That's my question. Do you think Greenwood's going to start? I think Benita starts for Aston Villa. It's tough, though. Or do they have Bailey in their start? Son, Tony, Antonio, Ings. That's a good front line. I like that front line. Going for the cheaper options in the front. It's not a bad idea. Foster, Ailing, Rafina, Kufal on the bench. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's playing any chips in game week 1, so that's not a bad team. Yorkshire Yid says Martial's injured and Cavani not match fit. I think Greenwood starts. Okay. In the number 9 spot, basically, then. So instead of the midfield. It's not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. Let's see who else put their team in here for us to talk about. Martinez, Cresswell, Maguire. So Martinez in goal. Cresswell, Maguire, Shaw. It's a good back line. Son, Gundo, Jana, and Greenwood. It's not a bad midfield. A little, you're missing a little bit of the heavy hitters though. That I think I'd like to see on my team a little bit more. You know, being the De Bruyne or the Salah, I got to have at least one heavy hitter in that midfield all season long. What I call must-haves or lock-ins, must-haves. Then you got Iheanacho, Bamford, and Ings. Bamford, I'm not 100% sure that Bamford's going to score. They very well could. I know that this is a big, high emotional game. It's definitely going to be a good game to watch. But it is 1:04 p.m. We got about 26 minutes before the deadline. Let's make sure that I got everything locked in here for right now. Who knows? We may make more teams. Save team is good. Vice captain. Looks good. Let's see. Who else has got a comment here? No offense, but don't think Basuma will get many points. Look, I'm not really looking for him to get a whole lot of points. Even if he gets a clean sheet, that's a bonus, right? But yeah, he's a cheaper one. Target against Watford. I may make that switch. That may be the better switch, to be honest with you. In fact, let's do that now. That's not what I want. Defender. I don't know if I want to do that though. You guys think Villa's going to get a clean sheet against Watford? Or Mbappe's on every time, 100%. Iheanacho's dodgy when he'll start. They could easily go to a 4-2-3-1 with Vardy up top. They haven't got enough center backs to go 3 at the back with 2 up top like they did before. Yeah, I agree with you. I looked at Iheanacho, seeing the fact that he's a cheap option, and towards the end of last season, he performed really well. But he was kind of a dark horse. He wasn't one that we really look into. Yeah, Basuma, 100%. He's kind of my cheapest midfielder, just really kind of a placeholder. Maybe I need to make a change here. Dallas and Basuma. How much cash do I have? Let's see. 1.5 remaining. I do have a 12.5. If I upgrade Dallas or Basuma, I'm not going to be able to get Vardy in. Let's look at the 4.5 midfielders and see who's available. Let's do this here. So at 4.5, we got Brownhill. I could bring in Sissoko. Matic. Ramsey. Winks. $4.5, there's not a lot of options. Not a lot of options at all this season. So let's restore him. And let's remove him. So that gives me 7. So we'll bring this down to 7. Who's Southampton playing? So looking at Ward Prowse here. Seeing who they're playing this week. Everton, Manchester United, Newcastle, West Ham. It's not the best. Suma for Souček. Who are West Ham's fixtures? Newcastle, Leicester, Crystal Palace. That's not bad. It's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout. I'm looking at people a little bit further more than just one fixture, though. I like to look at least 4 weeks in advance. But he does have 3 greens out of 2. So Souček isn't a bad shout. It's 6 million. That means I'm only losing 0.5. Let's see who else we got here. Bowen, Zaha, 7 million. I don't think Crystal Palace has very good fixtures, though. Yeah, they don't. Not very good fixtures. We got Rafinha at 6.5. They have really bad fixtures too. Man United, Everton, and Liverpool in the first 4 game weeks. I would suggest staying away from Leeds players for the first. I would start bringing in Leeds players looking like around game week 5. So if you notice here in game week 5, they have a really good fixture run. That's when I'd be looking to bring in some Leeds folks. And Smasher says he's got. I have 3 West Ham players: Kofal, Cresswell for assists, Souček for goals, even though they have 1 red, 3 have 3 greens. Yeah, West Ham, but we don't even know how West Ham's going to come out and start playing this season. Their form could drop significantly, right? Could drop significantly based on last season. I think West Ham's a bit of a punt for right now. The FPL League code for the Rants, THFC Rants League is 14I4M1. You can just go to Join League and hit that in there if you're on your phone doing this now or looking at it on your computer. But we got about 19 minutes until the deadline hits and we can't lock in any more transfers. So let's see. And that's the problem is I don't want to get too much. I'd rather go into the first game week with money in the bank than maxed out and not able to play. Although I do have quite a few defenders, so maybe I play a 4-3-3 this week and try to lock somebody in cheap. Harvey Barnes. Souček's not a bad shout. That still leaves me with $1 million in the bank. I'd pick Ezzy, but he's injured. I think he's going to be a player to look for this week. Saka on Arsenal at 6.5. McGinn. Virginia McNeil, Westwood, El Ghazi. Højbjerg. See, Ndombele would be a player that I would like to do at that. That's a good price point for Ndombele, 6 million, but I just don't think that he's going to play. Just don't think that he's going to play. It's really not that difficult. It's actually a lot of fun. It just takes a lot of thinking, and you got to just kind of take a punt and go for it, man. Jamie says, rate his team. Trent Alexander, Tismicus, Shaw, Ruben Diaz, Fernandez, Salah, Benrahma, Ings, Tony, Antonio, bench, Foster, White, Brownhill, Rafinha. Sanchez, I like in goal. That's the same goalkeeper I have. Trent Alexander-Arnold is good. They have a good fixture. For me right now, Liverpool defenders are just too expensive. And until I see them play a little bit more than what I have, I want to hold off on their defenders for a while. That could be a mistake in game week 1. You could end up, with like a 12 points, like a double-digit haul for that week, and I would say good on you. I should have done that too. Me, I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm not sure how great. I mean, it is Norwich, so it's not like it's a super challenging fixture, but I think there are better options at lower prices. Where did my monitor go? Shaw, Ruben Diaz, Fernandez, Salah, Benrahma, Ings, Tony. Let's see. Ruben Diaz is probably good, although I think the Spurs will score. Shaw's I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Samakis. Guessing that's how you pronounce it. Right now, Calvin Lewin's injured, so I don't know if Calvin Lewin's going to play or not. I think he's out on an injury. In the midfield, we got Fernandez, Salah, Benrahma. That's a really good midfield. Ings, Tony, and Antonio. I think that's a good front six. Based on the fixture list, that's a good front six. On the bench, we got Foster, White, Brownhill, and Rafinha. It's a good bench. I don't know about having Ben White in the number 1 spot. If that's the order that you have him, I would probably put Rafinha in that number 1 spot. I don't think Arsenal are going to get a clean sheet tomorrow. I don't see that happening. So if you do have somebody who doesn't play, it's going to be tough. I would probably even put Brownhill in front of White. But yeah, last time I looked, he was on the he had a triangle next to his name. Who else we got? I gotta make sure I keep an eyeball on the time here. We got Cresswell, Cash, Shaw, Havertz, Salah, Bruno. That's a good midfield. Havertz, Salah, Bruno, Rafinha. That's a good midfield, Todd. Antonio, Calvert-Lewin. Did they take the triangle away from his name? They take the... They did. It's not there anymore. Well, heck. I may have to get him in. That's a good fixture run. That's a good fixture run. Last time I pulled on it, he had a triangle next to his name, but I guess he's fit to play now. So Let's pull in. Yeah, he did earlier though. When I did this, I did my I did my first pick, about a month ago. And then I did it again, maybe a week ago, and he had a triangle. He doesn't now, so that's a good call. It's a good shout. Let's throw Suchek in here for now. Messi in goal. I don't know about that, dude. I think United's gonna score. Fixture wise, I don't like Leeds, and they have a really tough fixture list first 3-4 weeks. Sanchez to me looks like the best call fixture wise for a while. Or Gutierrez. So fixture wise, he's got two good fixtures. He's got Burnley and Watford here against for Brightford, Brighton, Brightford, same thing. Brighton, and then also with Brighton too, they do tend to have a pretty good defense. They do have decent fixture list. So even with the Everton one, and then my other option here, Crystal Palace goalkeeper. They have crappy fixtures, but he's just cheap place filler. For now, I may switch him out at some point in time. But yeah, he seems to be a starter. So let's lock these in here before the time runs out. Only person I am questioning right now would be a Vardy. Switching out Vardy. Leicester does have a pretty good fixture run though. Other than Man City in game week 4, he's got a pretty decent run. And so for me to see who else I would put in for Vardy. What's the wrong person? Select replacements. So right now I have 11.5. I can't even get Kane back in now. With that Suchek swap. With Spurs players, when do I start pulling in, bringing them in? For me, game week 2 for a short term type of a switch. Like if I'm going to use free transfers to pull people in and bring people out. It would be good. I'm definitely going to be pulling them out again. Probably starting game week 5. Then you got a good 3 fixture. Arsenal, I don't think it's going to be a tough one. Sorry, Arsenal fans. Aston Villa, Newcastle, West Ham, Manchester United. That's a decent run there that I'll probably end up leaving like somebody like Son in. I don't know if I bring Kane in. But if Kane does end up staying with us throughout the season, game week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Game week 11 is when I would definitely start doing it. So game week 11 through game week 22. Spurs have a really, really good. That's when I'm probably going to triple Spurs up, right? Defensive wise, stuff like that. So that's what Crocodocs. That's the question. When do you think you'll start pulling? Game week 11 through 22. So a good 10-week stretch that I'll probably triple Spurs up. Maybe do it like a Regulon to Son, Kane. Move that way. That's definitely what I'll be doing if Kane's still here with us. But do I double Brighton with Vetman and Sanchez or have White? For game week 1, man, I'd probably go with the double Brighton. I mean, hey, you got to go with your gut. You got to go with your gut. But Ben White for me, Arsenal have some tough fixtures. And their preseason didn't look very good at all. And you got I like to go with what I go newly promoted thing. You got like teams that are gotten a good boost or a good push, who are looking to make a name for themselves. You know what I mean? 7 minutes left before the deadline. Yeah, Steve here. I'm not 100% sure, man, on what he wants to support or not. But anyway, let's take a final look at the team here. Let's see. Select a replacement for Barty here. We got Kane, Bamford, Vardy. Let's take another look at Leicester's fixture list here. They got some good fixtures, man. Other than City in game week 4, they've got a good run. Wolves, West Ham, Norwich, Brighton, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Man United. I mean, all the way. Vardy is somebody that you could leave in all the way up through like game week 11. Even further than that. Really not until game week 19 do you have 2 fixtures back to back for Leicester with Vardy. I don't know, man. I think I'm going to leave Vardy in. I think I'm going to go with him. Obamafe. Afemi. Why do 12% people have him in their squads? Couldn't tell you. I don't know who he is either. You have to tell me where he is. Is he a midfielder, defender? Oh, Southampton. Oh, because he's 4.5. He's probably just the cheap guy that people have as a placeholder. They're maybe only playing 2 up top. Normally you'll have guys like that, set up for it. But yeah. Just a cheap guy. Probably a placeholder. Yeah, 4.5 is the minimum. So out of these other 4.5 guys, they've got them as a placeholder. Looks like Dane Scarlett's going to be starting and playing for the first team this year, though, at 17. His name is on the list. It's the first time he's been on the list. Big up for him. But we've got 4 minutes left. Need to make sure this stuff is locked in. Big team here. I like it. Suma switch. Wish I could just drag this. Switch. All right, guys. So what we got here for me, this team that I am picking here, and you got to go through with your gut, what you think is right. Remember to always look at fixture first. Fixture is the most important. So you got Sanchez in goal, Cresswell, Dunk, and Loughton in the back. All fixtures good. Newcastle for the Hammers there for West Ham. Dunk. Brighton's playing Burnley there. I think they have a good shot of getting a clean sheet, even if it's a 0-0 draw. That works. We'll see how Mr. Potter does there. We've got Loughton here against Brighton. That could be, it's kind of a push, a 50-50. I could, you know what, here. We're going to switch him for him. Boom. There we go. Now I'm not playing against myself. Make sure to lock that in. Save your team. Team has been saved. Cresswell, Dunk, Target, Sun, Suchek, Salah, Gundogan. Gundogan one is not one that I'm 100% on, to be honest with you. That could cause me a blank. That's what I hate about City players is you never know who's going to start. You never know who's going to play. You never know who's going to start. And Calvert-Lewin. Up front. Vardy and Tony. With Lowton, Basuma, and Cody on the bench. And Guetta, the Chelsea keeper. Or Guetta is the goalkeeper. So that's it, man. Game week 1 for me, based on my time. Deadline is in 1 minute. Your team has been saved. We are locked in. Looks like there's about 6 million players here. And then let's look at the leagues. Leagues that we're in. Leagues and cups. So I am in the We Are Tottenham TV, THFCRants, FPL, the Spurs family. That's one of the creators of us have. I think Matt Hayes has a league too. Don't know what that is. Let me go look at Matt's channel here. And see who we got. Matty Hayes. If anybody knows his league code off the top of your head, go ahead and throw it in the chat, and I'll just go ahead and join that. Enoch out. I'm still Enoch out. I'm always Enoch out. I'm always Enoch out. Always Enoch out. Team is locked in. Deadline has passed. If you haven't got your team locked in, it is out of that. YouTube here. Deadline. Hayes. Tottenham blog. Let's look at what his community section. Join his league. It's not going to let me. Because the game is being updated. Join a league. Oh, crap. That's not what I want. See if I can get the league code from this league here. 6J4HFY. No, it won't let me do it. I missed it. I'll join it for week 2. But definitely got to get him out. So anybody else have any things to look back here? Pick the team. Who's our team here? Game is being updated. It's not going to let me look at it anymore. So let's take that off of there and bring this back up. But are you guys excited about the season? What do you guys make of what's his name? First press conference. What do you guys make of a Nuno's press conference? Good, bad? For it, against it? What'd you guys think? What did you guys think? Yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, go ahead and throw some comments on this video down here below. Why do I keep seeing a spinny thing over here on my right-hand shoulder? Is that happening back there? Oh yeah, it is. On the TV. I don't know why it's doing that. That's weird. Reload, how much, if at all, do you value statistics when picking players? I feel they have a role, but you have to apply some context. Yeah, so for me, it's an eye test and it's also statistics, right? So I do, statistics definitely have a place. They definitely have a place. When you're looking, if you're trying to predict, like for FPL, we're predicting stuff that's supposed to happen in the future, right? Which is really hard to do. So you got to look at XG, shots in the box, chances created, like good websites like FPL Scout, stuff like that. They have really good features and stuff like that. It definitely plays a role, man. It definitely plays a role. Definitely the eye test too. And for me right now, fixtures are most important, right? Fixtures over stats. If you got a player who's got really good stats, for me, fixtures are far more important than stats. Far more important than stats. Eye test too is a good one, but it is what it is. Looking at the final team we got here. All locked in, ready to go. Yep, can't even look at my team right now. We're all locked in, ready to go. And all that stuff. Arsenal versus Brentford coming up here in about what? An hour and a half, right? I'll be watching that game. It's going to be a fun one. Daryl says, stats are a guide. I trust my eyes more. Unless the stats are telling you that your eyes are wrong, right? I think that you got to go with both. I really do. I think you got to go with both. But, you really do got to go with both. Trust your eyes. And also trust the stats. So Arsenal have no Obama fraud and no lack of threat. That is true. They're both sick. Sick. They're both sick. Sick in the head, maybe. Anything else you guys want to talk about, chit chat about, or do anything else? Any more FPL questions? It's resources that I recommend. FPL, livefpl.net. Make sure you sign up for that. If you really want to get into being able to follow this, see what your live score is right off the bat, what potential threats you have on your team, how your team stacks up, it'll look at the percentages of things that are owned, and it'll kind of show you players that if they perform well will hurt or won't hurt your score. Make sure to watch all of the matches if you can of the players on your team. It'll really help you to make decisions going forward next week or this week, who's going to play. Make sure that you watch the matches of the players that you want or thinking or considering bringing into your team next week. Yeah, I can't get in there right now. The game is being updated. I'll have to do that after they update the game. Get in on that. Hopefully it'll let me jump in there and won't deduct me a week's score. But the code for our league, if you're watching and you're not in it already, is, like I said, you can't get in there right now, but it is 14I4M1. Top 4 will be winning prizes from THFCRants.com. You'll be able to get shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, other fun stuff like that for that. Also, too, folks, make sure that you do join us for late night THFC Rants. We'll be doing this show again, pre and post match. So we play on Sunday. So Saturday night, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, US, maybe even 9. I think 9 p.m. Eastern time, US is a better time. I think we're going to start doing that show at 9. So we'll be having, I think, a midweek FPL show, kind of like a transfer target on Wednesday, like after the week, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what players perform well, what they shouldn't be perform well. And then if I have time, we'll be doing a deadline stream like this here on a Friday or a Thursday, depending. I may not be doing a deadline stream every single week, simply for the fact that, especially when the season gets rolling, you have really odd deadlines midweek, post-week, you know, especially in double game weeks and stuff like that. But hopefully, like this first stream, hopefully this one catches up pretty more. So this has just been, you know, FPL from a Spurspective for Spurs fans and stuff like that. Just kind of talking about FPL. I enjoy FPL. Kind of following the season along, doing teams. If you want me to rate your team, I can rate it, give my opinion on it. But always remember that you need to be the one in control of your FPL, right? So you got to make those choices. You got to go with your gut. Steve Shizer says they're AFTV only if they lose. Yep, it's only if they lose. Got to figure out a good point to place a point. Damn. Hey, that's cool. We can do that from now on. And Alejandro says, love this new show. I'm really big in FPL. I am too, my friend. I enjoy it. It's a good, fun thing. Maybe a lot of people on the channel aren't, but I'll tell you what, it's a good way to rate players. And that's the kind of thing, too, we'll be going over. Another thing that I want to do for this show, especially the one that's on Wednesday, where we kind of rate players from a Spurspective. So we'll go through all of the players in the starting 11 for Tottenham. And we'll see which Tottenham players are performing the best, which ones are getting the most points week in and week out, which Spurs players will be the best ones to have in your team moving forward, what players can you take a punt on, what players, you know, stuff like that. So it'll have a Spurs focus. So it'll be an FPL channel all around. We'll be looking at the entire team that I pick week in and week out, but we'll also be focusing in on every single Spurs player, kind of going through each player on the list, the points that they've had, tracking them through the season. It's allowing Spurs fans to know what Spurs players will be the best players to have going forward. So, yeah. I think it's a good thing. I think it'll be fun. Fun to do, fun to talk with, fun to chat. Hope you guys like the new THFC Rants studio. A lot of time setting it up. Don't forget, super chats are welcome, and this is your daily moaning. You are more than welcome to it. First match of the season, first game of the season, fellas and ladies and fans of all persuasions. Football is back. Football is back. Football is back, baby. Also, too, the rest of the studio should be set up by Monday. I am having camera issues right now. I don't know why. This one over here, the power supply doesn't work. This one right here doesn't have a power supply yet. I'm running off battery power. So, yeah. It can cut out at any time. But new power supplies are in the mail. They should be here by Saturday or Sunday. It's gonna really put a cramp. This one should be in, I think, on Saturday, so we should be good for the pre-match late night THFC rant show where we have everybody on, bring everybody guests, bring in guests, allow everybody to do what they want to do. And yeah. But for now, folks, I'm going to go get ready to go watch some football, do some stuff around the house, get some stuff set up here. Thank you for watching. This has been FPL Spurspective. My name is Will Stewart. This is THFC Rants. And we will see you guys next time. Big up the Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Stay strong. Stay Spurs. See you next time. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go now.